Supreme Court sends strong message to government. Chief Justice indicated that Section 124A, sedition of the Indian Penal, it deals with sedition, and of the Indian Penal Code may have passed its time. Means it has outlived its utility. Its expiry date has already been over. That is the statement made by Honorable Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of India. So he has made many observations. Let's go into the details of that. What is sedition? Sedition, which falls under 124A of the Indian Penal Code, is designed as an action that brings or attempts to bring hatred or contempt toward the government of India and has been illegal in India since 1870. Now, you will imagine the British have brought this rule to suppress or create oppression among the Indians who are the subjects of the rulers of British rulers. So the same is being continued. So it is a colonial law, and a vestigial of the colonial legacy is still being continued even today. Now, that is the irony, and that is the shocking part, and that needs to be addressed. Supreme Court laid down that every citizen has the right to say or write about the government by way of criticism or comment. So it's good that Honorable Supreme Court recognizes that we all have right to criticize or comment upon any of the peer policies. It is also added that this comment should not incite people to violence against the government established by law or with the intention of creating public disorder. So you can criticize, but you should not provoke the people, incite any kind of violence, or push them to resort to violence. So such kind of statements should not be, any kind of provocational act should not be done through these words. So that is what we mean by the should not incite people to violence against the government, which is established by the law, meaning democratically elected and institutionalized. Sedition law is a colonial law. It suppresses freedom. It was used against Mahatma Gandhi. Isn't it an irony that what was used by the British rulers to imprison Gandhi as he was waging a war of independence at that time, and same is being continued even today. And even today, many people in the freedom India, free India, that is after the freedom also, when the British rulers have left, even after that, the same provision that has been used against Mahatma Gandhi is used against the citizens in free India after the freedom. So this is after the British have left. So the British was there, and they were trying to oppress the Indian subjects and Indian citizens, and therefore they were using that very heavy-handed measure. But is it justified now? Why should there is no foreign rule here? It's a free India. We are all the Indians, and we should be given a right to criticize or comment. Why should there be any act of sedition or 124 section to be applied to if you criticize or comment? So, isn't it irony that what has been used against Gandhi by the British is being used even today by the free India against the citizens? Then British used sedition law to convict and sentence freedom fighters like Bal Gangadhar Tilak in 1897 and also Mahatma Gandhi. So, Honorable Chief Justice of India, N.V. Ramana, asked government why a colonial law used against Gandhi and Tilak continued to survive in the law book even after 75 years of independence, even after 75 years of independence. Now, this is the question that was raised, and rightly so. It is time. Why such a provision is being continued in the law books? How still the cases are being filed? Why the police is booking cases? And why criminal justice system is hearing these cases? So there should be some kind of a serious introspection into this, and it is time that with his Honorable Chief Justice of India, N.V. Ramana, has rightly called for closure of this provision, and it said it has expired. It has outlived its time, and it has no utility in India, in the free India, what was relevant in the British India. Sedition is being used by the authorities to trample upon citizens' fundamental rights of free speech and liberty. At the slightest whims and fancies, at the slightest excuse, anybody talking against the government or any policy, any program or performance of the government, as happened in Vinod Dua's case. Vinod Dua, the journalist, criticized certain decisions taken, and there was therefore a case was booked against him under 124 this section. So the citizens' fundamental rights of free speech and liberty have been trampled in the name of whenever there is a free expression by citizens or any kind of statements, then it is being used. This 124 section is being used. Sedition provision is being used to suppress the freedom of expression, freedom of speech, and liberty. It suppresses whatever citizen ought to do in a democracy. It raises questions. What are the rights given to the citizens? They have a right to raise the questions, debate, disagree. Disagree is, after all, not any rebel against the government. It is only a difference of opinion. So disagree and challenge the government's decision. If the government decisions are challenged and say X did not like the decision, Y did not like the decision, or then in that case, they should not be punished by booking under this provision. They should not be victimized or retaliated by booking under this provision. Sedition systematically destroys the soul of Gandhi's philosophy, that is right to dissent. Right to disagree, dissent. I have a right to, I respect your opinion, but at the same time, I have a reservation about the validity of your statement. I differ with you. I beg to differ with you. These are the kind of give and take, the reciprocity based difference of opinion. If there is any debate or discussions, yeah, I may disagree with you, but I may respect your opinion. So it should not be viewed as dissent. That is the important. Enough is enough. How can it live its time? 5 years even after independence, which it has no relevance. It has outlived its utility and has no meaning in defeating the rulers were using against the subjects, and now there are no rulers. It's a free India. How government can use against the particular? It is only one way to use it, when there is any violence against the established government, inciting hatred, spreading disaffection against the established government, a democratically elected government, then this provision can be utilized. That is the final point. Okay, so what are the following regarding sedition law? So answer is D, which means 1, 2, 3. Section 124A of IPC introduced during British rule deals with sedition activity. That is correct. It was used to prosecute Bal Gangadhar Tilak, is also correct. Supreme Court laid guidelines dealing with 124 in Kedarnath Singh versus the state of Bihar case. Yes, that is also correct. So therefore, it should not be used for any activities where there is a freedom of. Actually, if you look at the article, the paper, so there are many instances that were discovered. Supposing some people have criticized there were no masks, there were oxygen was not made available during second wave of the infrastructure was not adequate. People have suffered. When such indicated, when such reports have, such statements have been made, they were booked under 124. In fact, he is giving a very clear one of the observation. In 2019, 93 cases were booked on the ground of sedition, and compared to 38 cases that were in the 2016. So can you imagine? There is an increase, jump alarmingly. In fact, there should not be any case, or there should be decrease. Instead, there is an increase, a jump of almost 165%. This is very bad. So this is the alarm, and this is the cause of concern, as rightly observed by Honorable Chief Justice of India. The same continues to be there, and again the 50 cases, charge sheets were filed in, only 70% cases were given the conviction. Conviction rate was below 3.3%. So charge sheets were filed only 17% of cases, and even worse, conviction gave 3%. So out of let's say so many cases, 90 cases, The conviction rate is only 3.3, which is very bad. That clearly shows the cases were wrongly booked. They were wrongly booked and they were not really attracting the provision. They could not produce the evidence and struck down by the court. This clearly shows enough is enough. No 124 IPCA section, please. That is sedition. Except in the severe case where there is any inciting violence against the state. That is the importance. So finally, that is the conclusion of that. So thank you. Any questions?